Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Comic book lovers, I'm Jarrell.
And I'm Josh. And after the recently released ending of the Walking Dead comic series at 193, we here at NocBro Nation have a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm sure you guys do too. So today, we're here to discuss those.
Yes, so there's a lot. I wouldn't say there's a lot. There's so many running around. One of the main ones was one big unanswered question that we did not get from the comics anyway, was what started the apocalypse? That was probably one of the most unanswered questions that people probably had on their top 10 list. What started it?
And to be honest, that's always been a question that everybody has wanted, and Kirkman would always tease us, alien invasion, blah, blah, blah. You know, the fact of the matter is, Kirkman never wanted the cause to be revealed. Never wanted it. Said it would never happen.
Because we would probably focus too much on it.
Yeah, so, even if this series went into 600 issues, Kirkman was never going to give that information out. And some question, did he even know? Or did he even create a outbreak or cause of the apocalypse?
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, in a way, yes, I would like to know, but it's also good not to know, because then I'm going to be, as the story progresses, you'd be fixated on it. Like, well, that doesn't make sense. So, like, if a kid's born, you're just automatically born with it. Like, you know what I mean? Because that still rolls around.
Yeah.
Like, so what's in our genes, or that's allowing this thing to happen when you die? I don't know. It's one of the crazy things.
And another unanswered question is it still that way? Has anybody ever died with the skip, and maybe even afterwards, and not zombified, not reanimated? Is there a possibility of, as time goes on, as generations breeding, as generations move on, does that
mutate?
Does it mutate, or does it cure? Does it, remove itself, the disease?
Yeah.
Is it even a disease?
That's actually a good question. Generations by generation. Will it just go down, 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 and down to where... Because, like, even
does it evolve, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Because even at the end of the series, we found out that there's not a lot of walkers in that area, of course. We're only talking about the eastern side of
We're talking about the safe zones.
Yeah, we're talking about the safe zones. So there's not a lot of walkers or growlers, that's a TV show, walkers around. So, roamers. Yeah, roamers. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, did it evolve a little bit? Is it still happening? But they're just taking out so many as they can, to where now the massive herds that have been out there just aren't any, because now humans are now starting to flourish again. People aren't just going out killing each other when they meet people. They're like, okay, come into our community, let's start something. And there's just not that many anymore. And
that kind of goes into the aspect of not really unanswered questions from the time skip, but unanswered questions of the whole series. What could have happened after the events of 193.
Yeah.
So when I say generations, obviously I think even in the comic book series alone, from 1 to 193, I think there was maybe a generation. Mm-hmm. That's probably it. Doesn't really give it time to evolve, the virus, as in, doesn't give time for the virus to evolve, if it even can. Right.
Yeah. So, do you have any other unanswered questions for specific characters?
Oh, absolutely.
You got one of them I just thought of, because we actually just did a video about the new character coming onto The Walking Dead.
You son of a bitch, you stole my thunder.
Dante?
Yes.
Yeah, so check that video out. We just posted just a day or so ago.
Because he wasn't mentioned in the final issue.
Not in the finale, not with Maggie.
We left off Maggie and Dante getting caught making out in a shed or wherever the hell they were.
It was after Negan.
Yeah, so where's Dante?
Yeah.
What happened with Dante?
We did not get that in the series finale, so we don't know if... they were still together, if he died, if he went somewhere else, have no idea. So that's one unanswered question.
Were there any other characters that were not mentioned?
John from the Sanctuary.
John from the Sanctuary. Oh, shit, yeah.
He's a leader.
He
wasn't a big character.
He was the leader. Was he the leader, though?
Yeah.
He tried to.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Because even, Rick brought Pamela Milton there to take a tour. We saw Magna and Yumiko. They were together.
Okay, that's right.
They grew. They were still together. We saw the princess, and we saw Mercer. I'm trying to think of some older characters.
Were there any in Alexandria that maybe we didn't hit, that stayed in Alexandria. If I'm not mistaken, I think we pretty much got everyone in Alexandria.
We saw Jesus and Aaron.
There was Maggie's assistant in the Hilltop that we didn't, she wasn't that big of a character.
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to think of. It's hard to think of other characters.
It's hard to think of them when you're on the spot. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think there are any. I really don't.
Not too many. Yeah.
What about characters that were in the finale that we just didn't get enough about? One of them we already know, and that is Negan.
Yeah.
What happened with Negan? Not just what happened with Negan after 193, but what about during the skip? Like, what went through his mind? And obviously he kept in solitude, but
or even during his time after being
finding the place that he found,
spared his life, having his life spared from Maggie.
That's what I meant. Yeah. From then until 193.
Make a little book for that. Like, make a little series, like just a little mini series, or just like a one shot for that. Or
Jesus and Aaron. What made them venture off out of Alexandria to the river, which is where they were at. There's a lot of character-based questions that we have. We could probably keep going on and on about that. But what about overall as in the world? And one question that I have that I kind of put in the thumbnail on one side, and if you guys look closely, it's from the part of the issue where Carl and Lydia come upon Eugene. Working on the railroad. And this whole point, and we saw it on the newspaper, was the Western Alliance and the Eastern Alliance are finally going to meet.
I want to know about that.
They're finally going to meet.
Yeah.
So
I would love.
I have a lot of questions about that. One, the Western Alliance. How did that start?
Yeah. How far west does it go?
How far west does it go? Was there a central figure like Rick?
Out west.
Do they know about Rick and his and everything he sacrificed and basically created? Because in our Eastern Alliance, all we hear is Rick is the savior. He created this new world.
Right.
Well, he didn't necessarily have anything to do with the West.
He's just in that. He's just in that particular area of the United States.
So a lot of unanswered questions.
That would be huge, definitely. I mean, Eugene leading the charge to building a railroad. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, you're actually you're thinking back. Think back to when the railroad was being built, pushing west. Going out further and further to connect cities, to connect towns, to connect people, to trade, and for them to do that now to where they can send supplies to the west and they can send supplies back. I mean. That'd be so sweet, dude.
Yeah, it opens things back up to a country, right? You're not just a colony now. You're not just a settlement. You're a country.
And what do they do for, like, as they're building this railroad, they're going to have people who are going to be you're basically building a safe zone along the whole way.
Yeah.
Because imagine being on the train, just like walkers in the train track, just put something on the end to kill them.
And you're also running,
which could destroy the train.
You're also running probably through major cities.
Mm-hmm.
What do those city conditions look like? Are there still larger quantities of walkers in the cities still? Are they decayed?
Unless they're going around it, but they'd have to. I mean, that would get into bigger detail because then you got to think about cutting down trees and things like that.
I almost hear people saying, "Well, the Western Alliance could be people that went out west and now they're just trying to connect the two." I don't agree because the Western Alliance, I picked that up as in they found these people. They didn't travel all the way out west, create a settlement, and then want to join the two because they would have done that along the way. They would have built the railroad along the way to get to the west. There's no point in traveling out there and then connecting the two.
I could see the argument both ways. You know what I'm saying? Which is an unanswered
That's a question.
An unanswered question. But yeah, I mean, I would find it better that they, in my eyes, my opinion, agreeing with you, is I find it better that they went west, reached out, found somebody out there, and they created a deal to say, let's build a connection between the two. Going west, searching makes sense, but then you have to travel back. And then, or send somebody back and say, okay, start building.
The way they explained it in the issue was that we're finally connecting with the Western Alliance, meaning
exactly
they're connecting with some new people that they know about, that they've communicated with, but
the way it was written, I think,
is kind of independently on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the way it was written it sounds better that way.
Yeah.
So, oh man, yeah, that I would love to know about that or see it in like a mini series, one shot. I don't care.
How
man.
Yeah, I want to know more about the world as it sits. Like, how are you making fuel for those trains?
Sorry, guys. I don't know why Siri thought we said her name.
Maybe Siri can answer our unanswered questions, right?
Exactly.
No. But how are they getting supplies for that? Like fuel for the train. I mean, they got to be to the point where they're making and producing fuel.
Well, unless they're burning coal. But where are they getting the coal? And they got they're over in like Virginia, so there's a lot of coal mines out there. So they could be going in there getting coal, which they're using for the trains.
Yeah.
So that makes sense too. But I mean, just the fact of building the railroad. I mean, building the tracks. Where are they getting the steel for that? How are they cutting it?
Yeah, I mean,
or are they going to other railroads that they're not going to use, pry them up, move them to a different location?
Most likely, right? Or possibly, if you need steel, I mean, you're going into cities and taking as much supplies.
That's
as
true.
can.
Yeah, melting it down and just. Oh, I would love to have seen that. Like,
I
you know what I'm saying? It's hard to see, of course, in a comic book, but it'd be cool.
We got so excited when we ran into the princess and we got to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
and we got to see the landscape of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and that was cool. That was an awesome event. Like, introduction of Alexandria when we saw the Washington, right? The monument. Like, that was freaking awesome.
Oh, I mean, it's just, the series finale, of course, he had to wrap it up. So we weren't going to get a lot of, closure on things that we may have wanted to see. And these questions bring about, man, there was just so much more that he could have done. And that's just what makes it sad, because I went to the comic shop today, or just the other day as you guys are watching this. And my comic shop guy, Kyle, said, "Are you sad yet that the next time you come in here next month, you're not going to be buying a brand new Walking Dead?" I'm like, yeah. Like, it's like, yeah, I'll feel sad when I actually go in on a Wednesday.
I'll probably treat it with rereading. Because, I mean, a lot of that is older stuff that I haven't read in years that I don't even remember. So it'll be nice to actually go back and read. But,
nice.
There's other things like Carl and Lydia. What happened between them? Why were they separated? Why did we have a relationship of Carl and Lydia just for it to end up being Carl and Sophia in the long run?
It kind of seemed like how they did the ending with Carl and Lydia. It seemed like Carl took a different turn after his father died. So he took a different turn to where he wasn't as I wouldn't say he wasn't a leader, but he wasn't as continually outgoing and like wanting to do this and do that. Where Lydia seemed like her character before she wasn't, but now she is. Yeah. It seemed like they both just took a complete 180 in their personality.
And you're right. Maybe the death of his father affected him in a way where he just couldn't be the same person he was. And maybe that in turn
with Lydia. Or whatever,
exactly. Yeah. And that kind of relationship tore apart. Again, these are questions, but we're trying to find answers to those.
It was actually nice to see him with Sophia.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Don't get me wrong.
Perfect.
I prefer that over Lydia. Absolutely.
I mean, I still would like to see, her lick his eye and, as they grow old together. But hey,
Yeah, and the whole tent scene, like, that was awesome. Like, the way that story was built, it was awesome. I almost wanted to save this for another video, but it seemed like reading this issue, want to know your thoughts on it, but it in no way was connected to 192. Nope. Like, every single story, it seemed like didn't really connect with 192 in any way. Yeah. Which begged the question of, did he have this issue sitting around waiting? Like, we know he had the story built around. Yeah. Like, we know he knew how he wanted to end the story, but did he literally have this particular issue all written up, all drawn out by Charlie Adler, ready to go, and at any single moment he could say, pick that up, let's do it?
Possibly, yeah. Just from reading the letter, it just sounded like he knew as he said way back, that he wanted to get to this point, and he was like, oh man, we're already at the Whisperer War. Like, oh, there's not a lot left.
Yeah.
So maybe he was biding his time. Maybe like he said, he wasn't thinking of going to 300. So he's like, it's not going to make it to 300. We're going to be cutting short. But yeah, I mean, just thinking the fact of like, it's already done. It's sitting on his desk, and every month he's just like, is it there yet? Like,
I mean, it just
it
didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I keep asking myself, like, where did this come from?
That's
it
just
came
why it
out
was
of
so
the
abrupt.
blue. And like, especially with the 2 issues and faking us out, like, was that really a fake out? Or did he actually have that planned where he wanted to keep going, but then kept looking at this issue sitting on his desk, seeing like, maybe it is now the death of the father. Maybe it's now time to end it.
Possibly. I mean, at the end of that book, it did say that there are 3 issues that were only for
But dude, it also said
the purposes of not continuing. But yes, I think they did do it for it to be real, because Charlie Adler puts it on his Facebook. Hey, here's the next cover of The Walking Dead that he did. Unless it was just still a ruse, like you still have to do it to play up the part that
here's my whole thing, like that. I think that no, I don't think this was planned to end it at 193. They said in the letter hacks that the story was going to continue on with primarily around Negan. Mm-hmm. He was going to be the focal point.
They were going to bring on.
They even brought out a new colorist, shadower or shader.
Yeah.
Why even announce that?
They were very excited about it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why even announce that?
Yeah.
Like there's too many things that don't make sense.
Makes me feel bad for that guy. Man or woman, I can't remember which one it was.
Unless they were just making that up.
Doing it.
But it just I mean, yeah.
Yeah. They just had to keep it under wraps, because I honestly think this was the best way to do it, because if we were prepared, I think it would have made things worse. Like if they would have announced a week before, this is the end of The Walking Dead, comic book shops would have just been destroyed. It would have been a madhouse, and I think it just would have... I mean, fans were upset that it ended, but I think it probably would have been worse if we were notified ahead, like way ahead of time, that it was ending. But who knows? But
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Do you have any other questions? For example, what about the legal system? Like, how's that going to work with
on the Commonwealth and stuff like that?
Yeah, like we kind of saw a little sneak peek of the legal system, but it was quite different than what they were living in before in the United States, right? Like, there wasn't this is the high court and that is it. That is the final decision. No, there are appeal courts in the U.S. that you can go through. There's, you can appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court, in our judicial system.
I think in that kind of aspect, it's going to be like how the community wants to make their legal system.
True.
It's not really a world legal system. It's their community.
But then my follow-up question to that argument was like, okay, if we're basing it on communion, maybe we're basing it on alliance. And if that's the case, what if the Western Alliance, assuming our previous statement is true, has a different legal system than the Eastern Alliance?
So then they'd have to come up with similar things, like if somebody from the Eastern Alliance gets in trouble over there, do they both talk to say,
what if we're getting into some type of freaking Civil War crap? Like the Western Alliance is using zombies as slaves, and they follow me. And the Eastern Alliance doesn't agree with that, and we have a whole freaking Civil War again. It's just like there's so many questions with that.
There's a lot.
You gotta admit, that'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be crazy. A new Civil War, East and West.
Yeah.
That makes sense though, because different communities are going to have a way of dealing with punishment, and it's not.
We saw that in the Commonwealth. Alexandria coming to the Commonwealth.
Yeah, to interrupt. No, you're good. Yeah, definitely. So unless they were able to bring, maybe the Western Alliance wasn't at that stage yet. They were like, bring you into here. This is our rules and regulations. But even if they had separate, maybe they have similarities that they can go through. Okay, you're punished for this. Western Alliance does this. Eastern Alliance does this. Let's agree on a common ground, and this is what you're punished with.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it an unanswered question. That's what makes some more intriguing to know. Like, how did these communities come together if it was that way?
How did Maggie get to be the president? Was she? I mean, obviously, I think
there is an unanswered question right there.
I think that she was voted in. I think there was definitely a vote because I think we got to the point in our communities where there was a democracy, at least.
Yes.
So I think there was a vote to put her in as president, and I think that she became president because she was probably the closest to Rick, meaning Carl wasn't around because he was devastated.
They probably asked him, and he's like, "No, I don't want to do it."
So the nearest one is Maggie.
Would be Maggie.
Yeah.
And of course, like that's what made me sad because at the end of Maggie, knowing her character, it just made me sad because I felt like, man, is she like a dictator now? Like, or she's just very strong. I mean, she's always been a strong character, but I didn't think like, oh my gosh, she's a dictator now. I just had this weird feeling like, dang girl, like
I kind of felt like I had sympathy for her character. I felt sorry for her because here is someone that was a big part in what Rick built, I think, because she took over the hilltop and she fought the battles that he fought as well. But in the end, like it didn't seem like she was as strong as she was before.
Yeah.
Like here she is the president, yet she has multiple people undermining her.
Yeah.
And really not agreeing with her.
Yeah. And the people saying that, you just let your son go around and do whatever he wants, whatever.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like Herschel, she has Herschel almost like a Milton 2.0.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sebastian, yeah.
Or Sebastian, yeah.
Definitely. He's Milton, yeah. So.
Yeah.
But, that was a big unanswered question. How the heck did she become president? And what's the process? Probably a vote.
Speaking of Milton, what about the governor? What about Governor Milton and her son? Like, we get the shot of him in the prison. Great.
I think I think after everything, she probably stepped down. We don't know if there was, I don't think there is another governor. We didn't find that out. Maybe there's a governor of certain parts of communities.
Well, maybe they
don't know.
that part of the legal or government,
right?
Up. Like each Commonwealth 1, 2, and 3. Has a governor. And then
Maggie presides over them all.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's cool how you get, back into the real world aspects of things and, just different positions of power. It stays the same. It's done differently, of course, but it's primarily the same. And
it's just crazy because as we're talking about this, like, these would have been amazing things to write about. And obviously Kirkman thought that would have made the series stale.
Probably
and
boring.
Would have been boring to us.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
To me, I don't think so.
I probably wouldn't want to dive into it too deeply, but you definitely give us that information.
There's so many stories that you could have had something like where maybe Governor Milton said, you know what, I am going to run against you. I am going to try and be president.
Right. And see them going out to different communities and doing a rally, basically going on their tour. That would be
maybe
cool
a rally gets attacked by a herd. I mean, it's there's
that would be cool.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
That would be really cool.
And who knows? We may get some of these questions answered down the road.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know if Kirkman probably will be at San Diego.
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of questions for him.
So usually,
but there's going to be a lot of deflect. Yeah. Tell some truth on things, but he'll deflect a lot of it.
Truth, deflect. Truth,
exactly.
And look, so I'm sure everyone knows, but he does a comic book panel, and they do a comic book panel and a show panel. Yeah. I believe the only one that they thought about canceling was when that stunt guy died. So they almost canceled it then, I believe.
Yeah.
But decided to keep it for the fans. So, to my knowledge, I think there is going to be a comic book panel and a show panel. I know there's a show panel.
Yeah, season 10's there.
So, it'll be interesting to see what Kirkman says.
Guys, so check this cover out right now. This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive variant of 193. Absolutely gorgeous.
Starry Night.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's not called that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just called The End, I believe.
It's called The End. They changed that for the second print as well. But, I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous, guys. I mean, the red in the walker, the blue, the sky, the stars.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a special letter from Charlie Adlard in the back of that bag.
Yeah, I really, really hope Skybound, if you're listening to this at all, please sell that on your store. A lot of times they will sell exclusive comic book issues on the store shortly into or after San Diego Comic-Con. They did it with a Redneck variant.
Yeah.
So I really hope they do the same.
If any of you guys are going to San Diego and would love to grab us a copy and send it to us,
please,
we would be much appreciative.
Yes, our P.O. box is in the description below. If you definitely want to send those out to us, we would love it.
Right, and if you want us to pay you, we'll pay you. We'll get you the money. But if you know,
I absolutely will pay for that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, look, we're not looking for free.
We're not looking for freebies,
and we're not looking to resell because we are both collectors. So
we would definitely love it because we don't want to be paying $100 on eBay when they get out there.
It's gonna go for more than that,
probably. Oh my god!
But I truly believe there's going to be several variants for this issue. This is going to be like a #1 where they just continuously pump out a different cover.
Yeah. So another commenter asked when we did our 193 video in the comments, they asked so what are they going to be doing for Walking Dead Day? Will that even exist anymore?
Did they really do? They did one in Kentucky, Cynthia, Kentucky, where he based the story out of, where I believe he was from. But I don't think they did anything other than that one Walking Dead Day.
Well, I'm talking about the Walking Dead Day that they did with, like, for Image. They did the blind bags and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't do that every year, though.
Oh, it wasn't every year?
No.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do that every year.
Oh, I thought it was, but yeah, I must be mistaken. But if they do another Walking Dead Day, then maybe they'll just do like some cool variants or something from previous issues.
If you ask me, I don't think we're going to see the end of Walking Dead comic book. The show is going to go on for quite some time. AMC said they have a good 10 years left on their show, whether that's the main flagship or that's all the stuff put together as a whole with the new spin-off, the movies, and then whatnot. But comic book, I don't think we're done. I think that we will get an announcement. It might be 2-3 years, but we'll get an announcement of, a special series coming out.
Yeah.
Limited, but a series coming out.
Something. Yeah. So, guys, let us know your unanswered questions in the comments. Let us know your thoughts of what we provided you in this video. We would love to hear from you. And we can maybe do another video and we can maybe, chat about it.
Absolutely. And The Walking Dead is not done on paper because The Walking Dead Tokyo, a book, is coming out soon.
Walking Dead Typhoon.
3rd, right?
October 3rd, yeah. Walking Dead Typhoon.
Yeah. Pre-ordered it already.
Yeah, I got to do that as well. So very cool. It's the story over in China. We did another video on that. We'll put a link in the description. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, you can pre-order it through Skybound or Amazon for, I believe, $28. So check that out. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments your thoughts of this video, your questions, your unanswered questions, and we'll do another video to maybe just talk to you about it and answer those. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the bell notification so you're notified. Smash the like button if you haven't already, and help support the series and the channel. And we will see you guys next time for some more Walking Dead comic book videos here. I'm Jarrell.
And I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.